Hey everybody, it's your host Molly Pittman. Welcome to the Smart Marketer podcast. Every guest that I bring on this show is near and dear to my heart and very special. But today I think we have the most special guest in my life, my husband, Casey Maupin.
Hey everybody.
Thanks for doing this.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So this actually wasn't my idea, but I think it's one of the best ideas that Zach, our director of social and content, has ever had. Zach said, "Hey, I think we should have Casey on the show and talk about, your restaurant and kind of your life together, both being entrepreneurs." So I know this is a little bit out of your comfort zone, but thanks for doing this.
Very comfortable. Happy to help.
So, Casey, people who have listened to this show for a few years have heard the story about how we reconnected. So, you and I have known each other since we were 5 or 6, elementary school days, playing soccer behind Tolliver, Tolliver Elementary
The
School.
goals between the trees.
So we've known each other for a long time, but we really reconnected, 5 or 6 years ago when I was back here in Kentucky visiting, and that led to this life that we had today. So the people, the wonderful listeners out there, they want to hear that from your perspective. So can you tell us what that was like from your viewpoint?
Well, that was a rough point of life because I was kind of figuring out if I wanted to continue with restaurants or try something new, go back to school. Didn't really know. I was managing 2 restaurants at that time, so leave the house at 6 a.m., get home at midnight, and sleep for a couple hours and repeat, which is not a way to live. Um, and once you were back and we started talking and we knew we had something going on, I always look at it as you kind of saved me because you talked me out of working my life away, and I still work too much, but not nearly as much as I did. So, um, yeah, like you saved me. That's like the most important thing to me.
So what was it like? Can you tell people the story of us running back into each other?
Very random. Um, but that day, like I was doing a food order, a bar order for, ordering everything, and I just remember having my back turned and I heard your voice, and I don't know, it was like the world kind of stopped for a second. It was like one of those times when the universe is just talking to you and you have to listen. That's rare times, but um, and yeah, like we went out for a drink after that, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, it's so crazy. This, you know, 10 years ago, would you imagine that we would be in the spot that we are today?
Not at all.
Isn't it wild?
I knew I'd still be in Kentucky. I didn't think I'd bring you back though.
All right, so for those of you guys who haven't heard the story, this was holiday time 2020. So COVID had been happening that year, which shook everybody's lives up. I was living in Amsterdam. I hadn't been able to come back to Kentucky, so we are in Danville, Kentucky right now, in my office, recording this. So I came back to Danville, where you and I both grew up, and I was here for 6 weeks, so I hadn't been able to visit all year. My great grandmother passed away during this time, so I was here for an extended visit. And I was having a blast. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good to be back with my family. It's so cool to just be around people, since COVID had been happening. Wow, Danville has a lot going on now. Like, this is exciting. There are things to do. It wasn't like that really when we were growing up. And I remember I reached out to you about a friend's birthday party and maybe having it at the restaurant you managed at the time. And you and I kind of went back and forth and laughed, and it was like the same, old Casey that I had always
We were
known.
flirting.
Yeah, we were flirting, the same old Casey I'd known, and it felt good in my heart and good in my gut. But then something happened, like COVID restrictions went backwards and we couldn't actually have that party. And so I hadn't talked to you, the past, 6 weeks that I had really been home. And so I was supposed to fly back to Amsterdam a few days after I ran into you, which is the real wild part of that. And then, like you said, we ran into each other, had a drink, and I think we both knew in those first few days, like, wow, this is what we're supposed to do. And I remember telling you, I remember telling my dad, hey, I think I'm going to move back to Kentucky. And my dad was like, are you sick? Are you okay?
I said the same thing.
Dad said, are you going to be bored here? I was like, no, this feels right. And of course, I went back to Amsterdam to get Larry, our Chihuahua, very important part of the story. And I actually lived here in this office. This is an old building, it's an old apartment. I lived here for about 10 months while we dated and really knowing that we wanted a farm. But it took us a while to find the farm. You were really instrumental in that.
We looked at several before we found the one.
Yeah, so that's been 5 years almost next month
Hmm.
that we moved to the farm and really all of this happened. So
Do you remember the first time Larry stayed with just me and you were gone? And he just like stared through my soul the entire night. And I'd wake up and he's just staring at me like, who are you and why are you here? Where's my mom? What happened?
you were scared he was going to bite you.
I figured he would.
Was he just giving that energy off?
Yeah. Then he realized we're a lot alike.
You guys are. I think you and I are opposites in so many ways. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
How do you see us as being opposites?
Um, you like new things, new experiences. Not that I don't, but you go after them. Whereas like I just kind of wait for it to fall into my lap. But you go after them. Motivates me to do the same.
Yeah, I'm probably more extroverted. You're more introverted.
Well, I work with hundreds of people on a daily basis in person,
Yeah,
so
you're amazing with that.
people are they get kind of tiring, you know.
But I do think it's true that like opposites attract.
Hmm.
Our values are the same, but the way that we operate day to day life is very different.
Right. And then when we can get a night away, and you're like, yeah, let's go down to Morley's. I'm like, can we go anywhere but there?
Let's not go to the restaurant
Yeah,
that we own.
let's go to a
Yeah.
Dollar General or something.
That's the most Kentucky
A lot
thing I've
less
ever
people.
heard. We'll come back to Morley's and everything that you're doing there as an entrepreneur. But 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago, we got married in Italy. Definitely one of the best days of my life. The last 2 years have been really hard, like harder than I think you or I expected. Um,
Can we
talk
go
about,
back to Italy?
yeah, can we go back to Italy? Will you tell everyone about your shirt and the meaning behind that?
What's the lavender? Is
Kitten.
that what? Yeah, lavender kid. So this was anytime I see this color, it was always Molly's dad. Like he was this color. And so I even have the Old Bridge stamp, which was his favorite bar other than our bar. Um, but I wear it when I play golf now, and anytime I see it in my closet, it just makes me think of him, and he just always looked good in purple. I don't know why.
Yeah, we've talked a lot on the show about, dad passing away and his birthday will be in 2 days. What has that experience been like for you? You and dad had a very special relationship, and, obviously you being there for me through this experience, and you've also been going through your own grief with him dying. What's that been like for you?
It's been tough to say the least. I'm not really close with my family, so your dad was, I mean, other than you, he was my best friend, you know? So it was tough. But we have so many good memories together, and just the random memories that pop up, or dreams I have, or people I run into like around town. Just everybody loved him, and look forward to reunite with him one day.
Yeah, and you have pictures of him all over Morley's. So this garage bar restaurant that we own, there are little shrines to Jeff all around and his pictures. So
And then new people come in and they're like, "What's up with that guy? Like, why is he everywhere?" And I'm like, you have to know him. Like,
what do you tell people?
just that it was my father-in-law, and this was his special place, and um, his face lights up the room, and it starts stories, and then people, his old friends that come in to the restaurant, or every time there's like a new story, like, oh, I forgot about this time, like back in the '80s, and it's just some wild story. Molly's dad he was a wild one, and he was a little fireball of energy. But there's so many stories that people bring to us that most I've heard before, and I just let them go like I haven't heard it before. But sometimes there's brand new ones that just come to their mind, and I got to start writing them down. I don't have the memory I used to, but it could be a book. It
Yeah,
should be a book.
it should be a book. And we're so lucky to live here in Danville in this community that we both grew up in. I posted a picture of on Facebook yesterday that Paul from our Smart Marketer team took of
The
downtown
fountain.
Danville when he was visiting, and I said, I always wanted to leave here growing up. Like I was so ready to leave, and now I feel so lucky to be back here. And number one, thank you for getting me back here. I feel like obviously I was supposed to come back to be with you and have this partnership and build what we've built, but it also gave me those 4 or 5 years with dad.
Hmm.
And it's really helped me realize, I lived in Texas and Colorado and Amsterdam and these amazing places, and I'm so grateful for that experience. But for me, I could be anywhere, and the community is really what matters. And we're lucky to be here. And most of the people that come into our restaurant, most of the people that we see, grabbing a coffee at the hub, we know them and we can share stories. And what does that mean to you living here in a community where we're so embedded?
I always wanted to leave too, um, but I don't know. It's like I couldn't leave, not just Danville, but Kentucky. Just like even when I travel, like after a week, no matter where we are in the world, it's like I miss the bluegrass. Like I don't know what it is, but it's like I'm supposed to be here. Like there's, between the restaurants I've done and all the experiences we've had, it's like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like this is home. Um, and there's a lot more to come. Like we still got a lot of time, but I don't know that even it's what we're doing right now is why I'm here. But um, I've enjoyed the ride, and I don't know. I couldn't live anywhere but here.
I agree.
Maybe when like 30, 40 years from now, but this is home.
So the goal is to have some second and third homes, different places we can go to. So we'll keep working on
Italy, Montana, Amsterdam,
that. Colorado, maybe.
Colorado.
All right. So between us and other than of course our marriage and our personal life and Emmett, my amazing stepson, your amazing son who's 12, our 6 dogs that we have, personal dogs, which is more of my passion project, but you tolerate them, you love them.
Hmm.
There is a lot that we manage together and separately. So we have the dog rescue on our property, Fields of Freedom. You helped me start that. We ran that together, solely just you and I, without any outside help the first year or two. That's crazy to think back to and where that's grown now. So, that is a business in itself, even though it's a nonprofit and we're able to save hundreds of dogs a year. That's what I'm most passionate about. Then
The new dental
obviously,
business.
yeah, obviously, I'm over here doing my thing with Smart Marketer, and we just launched Longer Together, the dental business, and I have my own consulting business. Um, but I think the most fun thing for you and I to work together on, and I get to be more of a consumer in this experience and do less of the work, is Morley's backyard. So that's Morley', Morley's backyard. If you want to check it out, we have good reviews on Google. Give us a follow across social media. Casey does all the social media. He does a great job. I want to focus on that business because everybody here listening and watching, they are in business and marketing to some extent, whether they own a business or they work in marketing. Um, and running a local business is very different. Watching you run Morley's, the capacity to which you have to commit to this, especially the time invested in person, and like you said, people being in front of you every single day, your customer is in front of you every single day. That is beautiful, and it's also very taxing. So, um, I want to tell the story about how this came to be from your perspective, and share that with everybody out there. And how did we go from a food truck to, probably one of the most successful restaurants and bars in central Kentucky?
Sure. And thank you. So Morley's was a tire center for 50, 60 years. So I used to take my truck there in high school and college, getting it worked on from Joe Morley, who's finally retired, and put it up for sale. And some friends of mine had moved back. They went to Center College here in Danville, but Josh and Meredith, they moved back here from Austin, Texas, where Molly lived as well. Not at the exact same time, but they are social butterflies and loved the food and drink scene. Didn't have much experience with it, but they had this opportunity to buy Morley's, um, and it has a huge backyard. And that's, if any of you have been to Austin, that's the Austin vibe. It's the picnic tables out back and a music stage and cornhole boards, and that's what they wanted to do. Um, so they put a bar in, but they didn't have food, which would be tough to do.
And I remember really quick the first or second day that they opened, you and I went down there with Bandit, our oldest dog, and we sat outside.
Hmm.
And I think we ordered some beer cheese. That was the only food option.
Yeah.
And Casey looked at me and he's like, this is going to be something so much more. Like, they need food. We had no idea what this would become. We did not know Josh and Meredith.
Right.
Right? We were just sitting on the patio.
Because I remember, like, once I quit, I told you I was done with restaurants, and then I didn't work for like 6 months, and we traveled a lot. Um,
Rescue dogs.
yeah. And then it was like, what I'm going to do. Like, I was thinking of going back to school or um, try something new or get into sales or didn't know what. And then when we went to Morley's for the first time, they hadn't been open long, but they had like hot dogs on rotisserie, I think, and like beer cheese, like, and then beer.
Yeah.
But it was like, this is a huge opportunity. Like, this could be great. So I started to get to know Josh. And at the time, my friends Derek and Tyler and I did a food truck as a side hustle just because we all love food. Tyler raises the best meat in the state. Um,
Yeah, we'll put some pictures up on this video if you're watching on YouTube of the red food truck, and
yeah.
I got to work there sometimes.
Well, it
So
started out of a black enclosed trailer with no logos, no nothing. It was just a couple guys flipping burgers and talking about beef and talking cows and pigs. It was just it's just fun for us. We'd be out at Tyler's farm most of the day and uh, getting cows up or sheep or pigs or whatever, and then we'd get a break for lunch and pull out the Blackstone and make burgers or sloppy joes. So once we went down to Morley's and saw this opportunity, like, hey, y'all need food, and we started setting up our food truck there every once in a while, and we didn't even post on social media. It was like I didn't even use my personal Facebook back then. Still don't, but um, it was just such an opportunity. Like, it was a cool spot, and then if you guys can pair that with some good food, it could be a great thing. And that was what, almost 4 years ago,
Yeah.
three and a half years ago.
I want to point out too, from a business marketing perspective, some things that we saw that were green flags. Like, this is a good opportunity. And, us growing up here and living in Danville, we know the market. We are the avatar, right? We are having this experience with everybody else in the market. And, alcohol has only been sold in bars here for probably 10 years, guys. Like, we're Kentucky, we're a little bit behind. So even this sort of like bar restaurant scene is new. And there weren't a lot of family friendly places, number one. I think that's something that was interesting to both of us
Hmm.
because you had not run any restaurants that were more family friendly. That didn't really exist here. Like a place where you could go have some beers and let your kids run around. There's that backyard, and it was like, wow, kids can come here, dogs can come here. That doesn't exist in the market.
We had a horse down there last week.
Yeah, someone rode a horse to Morley's last week, and someone posted on Facebook, this is a great alternative since gas is so expensive.
Yeah, I got to get that taken down though. That's an insurance nightmare.
But also the farm to table aspect, right? So Tyler having a multi generational farm, having access to all of this local amazing meat, and there being no middleman to mark up the prices, even though it's still expensive, that was another green flag. So,
Right.
from my perspective, I try to
Take a step
only,
back, see the
yeah.
big picture.
Well, and I try to only give you advice on Morley's when you come to me. Like, I try to not tell you what I think because I don't want to influence what you guys are doing when I'm not working in it day to day.
Right.
But from my perspective, seeing it from the outside, those were the green check marks. And I think once the food truck started doing well, I was encouraging you like, hey, there's probably more here.
Hmm. Yeah, those were simpler times. Now we have a full kitchen. We've invested a lot into that. Got a great staff. We have great guys, great girls, and it's working with friends. So most of the faces that Josh and Meredith had at Morley's are no longer there, and kind of redid the staff. But it's not just employees; they're friends. Like Derek, our bar manager, is my best friend on the planet, and it's like when things are going well, which is 80% of the time, it's like we're not really working. We're just hanging out and happen to be making food and making cocktails at the same time. So it's most of the time, it's even when we're busy, it's not stress. It's like, this is what we were born to do. We like good food, we like good drinks, we like good people, and that's, what Morley's is about.
How did the transition work from food truck to now I'm a business partner in Morley's and we have a kitchen? Like, that was a big jump.
It was big. It's also like just I remember when it was just on a piece of notebook paper, like this is where this will be, and uh, going back, I wish we could have done everything bigger, but it's also, we're not spending corporate money, we're spending our money, so that changes things. But having the kitchen is such a blessing, and we've already outgrown it. So now we're already talking about knocking down a wall to extend the kitchen, and uh, with local businesses. I mean, we've lost four this year, four or five food businesses in town that just couldn't make it, and we just keep growing. Um, very grateful, but the community's behind us 100%. And we're just trying to grow a little bit, but not too much. I want it to be fun, and the restaurant industry can be very stressful and time consuming. And I've done this for 20 years now, but I want this one to be casual, and it shouldn't feel like, I don't want people to stress going to work like I have most of my life. It's supposed to be fun. What do they say? If you like what you do, you don't work a day in your life. So I worked for a long time, so now it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, you guys have also grown, obviously revenue wise, but leading to that is lots of expansion. So after going from the food truck and actually opening the kitchen, having a full service menu, you have expanded the hours of Morley's and the days that you're open a lot the last couple of years. Can you talk about where it started and where we are now with that?
It's tough in a small town, you know, like anywhere. Mondays and Tuesdays are, a little slower for everywhere in the world, but it's really tough in a small town. So I changed their normal hours were it was Sunday or Thursday through Monday. So they're closed Tuesday, Wednesday. And I like the idea of having 2 days off in a row, but we swapped it to be off Monday, Tuesday, your slow days. And that went well for a while. Um,
You're even off Sunday for a
and then
little bit.
I ended up getting rid of the Sundays. We've changed that, and now we do brunch on Sundays, which has gone so a totally different menu. And there's only one other spot in town that does a Sunday brunch, so there's an opportunity just to change the scenery. People get out of church and go somewhere different.
Now I'm thinking about biscuits and gravy.
Me too. But that's gone really well, and because of the businesses we've lost, just to give people a place to go, we're now doing 7 days a week. Um, so now Sunday, Monday, Tuesday evenings, I bring in a different local food truck down to Morley's and give them opportunity to make money, and we just open the bar, and it's helped them out a lot. This won't be forever. I don't want to do 7 days a week. Um, but for the time being, the city's gotten behind us and we've made it work. Just until there's some more spots, Danville needs some variety.
Yeah, but it's so cool to see the food trucks coming in. That gives Morley's variety. So people can appreciate our food and love the experience and come any other day of the week. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday nights, they can come and experience something different. So whether it's the yummy taco Mexican truck or Indian food truck or
Shout out Curry Kitchen.
yeah, or a charcuterie board truck. It's like you're bringing in different variety that also creates excitement of why people who even our regulars that come almost every day
Right.
would want to come on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night. And then the food trucks are also bringing in most of them different clientele that are coming to get their food that have never been to Morley's before. So
Totally.
I didn't know how that would work, and it's been really cool to see that play out. Um, can you talk about like us being in this small town? Everybody knows each other. There are pros and cons to that. I say mostly pros, but what has that meant to our business? Where with an online business, you are out in the ether, right? You're online, and your family and friends can order your product, and that can be a beautiful thing. But there is really something special about having a business that's in person and a community of people that you know and then coming to support you. Can you talk about what the community has meant to Morley's and like your fulfillment?
It's huge. I always say everything we do is Kentucky proud. Any meat we use is either from Tyler's farm or a neighbor's farm.
What does Kentucky Proud mean?
That means it was 100% produced and processed in Kentucky. Like there's no, so if you go to, if you get Kroger beef, that's coming from multiple animals, well, multiple cows. So we'll go with beef. When you get product from Tyler, it's from one cow.
And can you say the name of Tyler's farm?
Sunwatch Homestead, best farm in Kentucky, and close behind Dry Branch, which happen to be where they're at. Shout out to Zach and Leah. But we only use Kentucky Proud meat, so when people come into Morley's and if they're curious, it's usually me or Derek telling our story and telling them, why we're unique and what we do different. And I joke with this, but I can show you a picture of the cow you're gonna eat. It's like I don't do that anywhere else. I don't show them the picture, but like we could. Um, and it's it's kind of trending now. That we call it farm to table, farm to fork, whatever. But it's getting more popular. But we're the only one that really does it 100%. Like that's what we're about. We're about local. Um, Even a lot of our beer is Kentucky made and bourbon, of course, but it gets people on board. They see they can taste the difference, and then they'll go to these places and get meat from Tyler or Zach and Leah from Dry Branch, and you taste the difference. Like you've seen Zach and Maria over the last few years, they're like getting on board, and everything's local. It's not going to Kroger anymore. It's like we have these amazing local spots, like the vegetable market in Junction City. You go there probably what twice a week, and it's going back in time to being a community. I wish we lived 200 years ago. You know what I mean?
Well, it would be difficult in a lot of ways, but yeah. Can you talk about the people that come into Morley's? And I mean, you know a lot of them.
We've made so many friends over the last few years. It's grown like a weed, but I have so many people in my phone now that I wouldn't have if it weren't, for Morley's. And so many friends I golf with now that I wouldn't have known. It's just we have a lot of new people that come through the doors now, but our our core, our people, I could put out one group text and 50 of them would be down at Morley's on a night we would be closed. When I do
Yeah.
it for like the national championship football games or basketball games, I could put out one text and 50 people are like, I'm on my way.
Yeah, well, and it's cool because lots of the people that walk in the door, it's like, oh, that was my fourth grade science teacher,
Yeah.
or that was my dad's friend, and I get to hear a story. So that's what's fulfilling and heartwarming to me is like just seeing all of the people from the past. And we are so lucky to have that. A lot of folks moved around growing up, or they didn't grow up in a place that's a smaller, tight knit community like we did. And I think we have so much to be grateful for there that we have a spot to gather with those people that we probably wouldn't see otherwise. And then they help make our business successful. So that is my favorite part of Morley's.
Yeah, it's cool also with that, like, the school systems, like, coming down, like, can you help us sponsor? And it's like, of course, like, this is our town. So whether it's Danville schools or Boyle schools, like, we'll help whoever because we're a product of the environment.
So a lot of people listening here, they work in business or marketing, and they might own a business or businesses with their spouse, or a lot of folks that are on the smart marketer team, their spouse also works for smart marketer. We have lots of couples on the team. What is your experience? It's not always easy, but what is your experience of us both being entrepreneurs? Although day to day we don't work together necessarily, I'm more working on the online stuff and the dog rescue. You're working on Morley's. What's that experience like for you, and what advice would you give to other couples in our situation?
I think it's to keep things separated, you know? Like, I know we don't work together exactly, but, the last thing I want to do at the end of the day is come home and vent about stresses I had during the day to you, knowing you had your own. And I think we're pretty good at keeping that separate from our personal life. And it's not easy because sometimes we want to complain and we both work a lot and we both just pretty much go home if we're not at work. So I don't want to bring you any stress, but I think it's just keeping things separated, like keep work at work and personal life with home is, that's cherished time and we don't get a lot of it. So I think just keeping things separate as much as you can. I'm sure it's harder when you're working together, but leave work at work and
Yeah,
keep the love for home.
and making time, we're very intentional about taking trips together and date nights. And I know that's nothing new for you guys, and you hear that on other podcasts and from other people, but just practicing it, if you do not carve that time out, your work will find its way into
Oh yeah.
to your personal life. And that's been really difficult for us, especially with, you know, I'm in a place where, smart marketer, I've been doing this so long, it's growing and it's amazing. And I really know how to keep the boundaries now. Like, it's not often that I have to work a 12-hour day to accomplish something because the business has matured, thank God, to a place where that's not necessary. And with Morley's, this is just a few years in. Casey's still in the grinding, like really putting everything that he has into this business. And sometimes that can be difficult because I have more time now than you have. And it used to be the opposite. So I feel like it's a song and dance every week. What do you have going on? What do you have going on? Where can our paths cross?
Yeah. When
And
can we see each other?
yeah, and sometimes it's like a car ride or a phone call,
Coffee date.
a coffee date. A lot of times, I sleep more than you do, also, like a lot more. I just require more sleep. And there will be weeks where, you get up before me and come home after I'm asleep. And so
That's because you're smarter than me, baby. I work with my hands.
So we have to be really intentional about that. And I don't want to romanticize our relationship because it has been very difficult and it's a constant balance of figuring out, what this looks like. But I'm grateful to be
Well, because you always,
on the ride with you.
we got to look big picture. We got
Yeah.
to look down the road. We're not working for tomorrow. We're working for what's 3 years down the road look like.
Yeah. So what does that look like for you with Morley's? Like, what is your hope? And I mean, I know if we said 5 years ago, what would your dream be? You wouldn't have dreamed this up. So I know it's not a fair question, but what do you see?
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's also not just my decision. I've got two business partners in this. Um, I don't know. And a part of me wants to, the first big company that comes along that wants to take over the Morley's brand and do it. That sounds nice. That we'd sell for a good amount and
Wouldn't that be kind of against the local thing though? Like, don't you think it would
depends
lose?
on, well, it's depends, you know. Um, we wouldn't sell, I don't mean like a chain buying it. I mean like another brewery or restaurant. And that sounds cool, but then I wouldn't know what to do, you know? It's like when I left the last restaurant and we traveled the world for 6 months and it was great. And then we got home and I was like, what do I do? I'm 33 years old and I don't have a job. What now? Like, do I go sell insurance or what? I don't know what to do with my hands. Um, so I don't know. And like I said, it's not just my decision, but I was born to run restaurants. And if I wasn't doing it, I don't know what I would do. I'm not a good computer guy. I can barely spell IT. Um, and I like getting dirty. I like drinks and food and people, and I wouldn't know what to do. I think
Yeah.
I would just drive you crazy.
People ask me a lot, like, does Casey work with you online or do you
Oh,
guys, I'm like, have you met him?
I don't know how to turn the computer on.
You're,
The fact that I run our social media is kind of scary.
but you're so in the moment, like, you're so hands on. That's what makes you successful at what you do. And I think that is what's missing for a lot of people that work on the internet like we do. It can be fulfilling and amazing, and there's so many benefits to it. And I find that if you don't at least have a hobby or something you do with your hands, literally,
Mhm.
like the dog rescue, or, I'll come into Morley sometimes and try to help you out however I can. If you don't have that fulfillment in person, it can be very difficult. It can start to feel very empty. Like, what am I actually doing? So, I think that's a very valid point and something that all of us can bring into our day to day lives. Ben Bennett, our creative director, he does woodworking. So he works on the computer during the day and then he builds stuff with his hands at night. And he's like, that gives me fulfillment in both areas.
Mhm.
So,
Well, you gotta remember, and I'm the worst of this, but you gotta do things for yourself.
yeah.
Um, and I get told that all the time because I'm obsessive, and Morley's is that's my baby. But go play around a golf, or go fishing, do something for yourself. And we rarely do those things.
Zach, can we clip this later and you send it to me and I'll send this to Casey Daly? Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Right. No, you're better at it than I am. But even last night I played golf for the first time in a while, but that was the first, Morley's is open, business is running, and I'm at the golf course playing and watching numbers on my phone to see if they need help. And it was like, put the phone down, just be in the moment and live. And
Yeah.
it's tough to remember to do, but it's important.
So, if you don't own a restaurant, you wouldn't know this, but restaurants have POS systems just like Shopify, right? So, just like we get the dings every time we have a sale online, Casey has Toast and he can see all the open checks in the moment, what everybody's ordered, labor costs, all of the goodies are right there on an app. And so I've noticed you started putting your phone in your closet. We have separate closets, thank God. My stuff creeps into your closet sometimes. But I've noticed, we actually haven't talked about this, but I've noticed you started putting your phone in your closet when you come home. Is that an effort to not check Toast so often?
That or just randomly scrolling, you
Yeah.
know. Because we always, even if we're just sitting on the couch, and how many times a week or you're on your phone and I just grab your phone and I throw it on the other side of the room and you like, thank you.
Okay, that sounds aggressive. You toss it on the couch.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But it's like, hey, we're here. Like, Instagram can wait. And every time you're like, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I thought that was cool you were creating that boundary because it can be addicting to see, but it's like that will always be there.
Well, even if it's a work thing, it's like, it can wait. There's tomorrow. So it can wait.
I want to talk about the dog rescue a little bit before we wrap things up and how we really started that together. It was definitely my passion in terms of the love for dogs and, seeing what was happening in Kentucky and dogs being euthanized and mistreated. But you were right there with me, especially in the beginning. We saved Alex the Beagle, the very first dog, together. And like I said earlier in the episode, the first year or two, you and I took care of the barn every day while doing everything else. Can you talk about that and like how meaningful that's been, for you and our family and community?
Well, at that time, that's like when I was in between and figuring out what I wanted to do. So I had that time to help you chase that dream, and um, early mornings and long nights of saving puppies. But um, I don't know. It kind of grounded me a little bit. I'm so used to wake up, work all day, work all night, go home. But with the dogs, it was kind of, I don't know. It brings you that peace when you're with a dog that doesn't have a home, you know, and you kind of put yourself in their four legs, and it's just like how grateful they are just to have a kennel back then. It's grown so much. The barn transition is huge, but remember day one when we were improving like crazy. We used what are those things called that on the Swiffers?
Yeah,
We probably spent $1,000 in Swiffers, which was
that
stupid.
was such
Why
a stupid system.
we took the most expensive route to clean up pee and poop. Um,
By the way, now we have pressure washers. So
but I don't know. It was just improving, and how many times I replaced a door on the barn, and um,
birth puppies and
yeah, Millie with she had 11
yeah,
puppies, and we had her in an old doggy swimming pool.
yeah. It was, I mean, it's so grounding. We had dogs pass away that you found. We've,
I had to stop taking my Emmett into the barn. It was multiple times, just unfortunate sick dogs that, Molly tried to save, and we did everything we could, but sometimes it's, nothing you could do. Um, but those are, rare occasions. But, in the grand scheme of things, that you've saved, what, 500 dogs now have pretty much come and gone from the farm, and how big it's gotten, and how so many people are involved. And most people, even at Morley's, they don't ask how I'm doing. They know how I'm doing, but they're like, "How's the rescue going? How's Molly? And that always, it's like cool, because I don't want to. We're already at work. I don't want to talk about Morley's, like,
yeah.
but it's like, what kind of dogs you got? And how the Facebook has grown, so much, and it's still in its infancy. Um, but how many times a month that I get a call from you, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm heading to Eastern Kentucky to pick up a dog," and then you come home with six. And I don't
Yeah.
know how you do it, but I know why you do it, and the dogs appreciate it.
And it's cool to see the ecosystem. The dog rescue is what everyone asks me about. And I love that. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
Smart Marketer feeds the dog rescue, right? That's where we get a lot of our donations from businesses like yours. Morley's is where a lot of the dogs get adopted. We'll take them down to Morley's. We have pictures of them in the restaurant. And, even this morning, Kayla was doing my hair. Kayla runs the admin of the dog rescue. She also works for Smart Marketer. And she said, "Oh, yeah, Casey told me that somebody came and asked him about the beagle you saved last week." And it's like having an ecosystem of entities and people that are all working together for different causes. Like, I, I couldn't imagine a better life. So thanks for helping to start that. And
of
I
course.
have to ask, people ask me this all the time. We have six dogs of our own. A lot of people think that's crazy. They can't imagine it. It is a little wild. But people always ask, like, what does Casey think about that? Or how does he handle it? So, how do you handle us having six dogs?
It's a blessing because we're never alone. You know, it's a lot. You can't go to the bathroom without company. Um, and feeding time is utter chaos. Um, and the fact that all our dogs don't exactly get along makes it kind of tough too. Um, but I wouldn't change it because it makes you happy, and happy wife, happy life, as they say.
Who is your favorite dog?
Bandit, Bandit,
What about Larry?
he's number two. If he was nicer, he'd be number one. The Bandit's like the face of Morley's, everyone's, how's Bandit doing, and when he's down there, it's just world's a little happier place.
Well, anything else you want to share with the Smart Marketer community? I know you and Emmett came to Smart Marketer Live last October, and that was really impactful. Got to meet a lot of our amazing community members. Shout out, we are having that event again in Denver, October 20th and 21st of this year, 2026. So go to smartmarketer.com and grab your ticket. But I hope you will come back this next year and
Of course.
get to chat with everybody again, get to meet
Yeah.
new faces. With most of my work world being online, our team, right? Especially since a lot of our team is our family, like my cousin Zach sitting behind the camera right now, or my business partners, Ezra, Pep, and John. You know those people, you've met them, you've spent time with them, but the community we service online, they're just people on the internet. So
Right.
for you to come and meet them in person and see what I do, um,
It makes those moments that much memorable. It's gotta be, I can't imagine how it is for you all, but like to only see someone once or twice a year, but you talk to them throughout the week, like that's gotta be strange. I don't know how you all do it, but it makes those times cool. Like when you're like, yeah, I get to see, I'm going to Portugal to see Pep, which is wild. Hi, Pep. But it makes those moments just cherished, because they don't happen often, but y'all got to come to Smart Marker Live. It's going to be a good time.
yeah, and for you to have the context into my world, which is the most important,
Hmm.
to know who I'm talking about, to see the impact that we have. Uh,
Yeah, matching the voice that I hear when you're online, talking, and then I see them in person, and I know as soon as they start talking, I'm like, oh, I know you.
I know you from Zoom.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for doing this interview,
of course.
Casey. I know this is out of your comfort zone, but you did amazing. And yeah, I'm proud of the life that we built together. And
We're
I'm,
only just begun.
yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next. Maybe a seventh dog.
Maybe not.
Anything else you want to share?
No. Thanks for all y'all and all you do and helping my wife chase her dreams.
Thanks, Case. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you in the next episode.
Ciao,
That's
baby.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.